Hello, hello, hello. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Thursday, May 12th, 2022. And here are some of today's trends in the news. And remember, the trends are your friend. And we're the only magazine in the world, the only podcast in the world that tells you what in the world is going on, what it means, what's next. We identify, analyze, and forecast trends. We're number one. No one else comes close on the planet. And do we get it right all the time? Absolutely not. We're human beings because there are too many wild cards in the game. And the wild card right now that's being dealt, of course, is the Ukraine war. And there are more wild cards being dealt as well. So that's why I never call myself a futurist. Nobody can predict the future. Again, the wild cards, whether man-made or made by nature. I shouldn't say man-made. Gender-made or made by nature. Can't say Mother Nature either. Anyway, the Dow is down today almost 600 points. And it closed down about 100 and what? 103. You think the plunge protection team's running this game? Gold, took a dive. Never would have thought gold would have gone down this low. Bitcoin's under a lot of pressure. I've always said Bitcoin's a gambler's game. I like it, play it, but understand what it is as well. Silver price is down to like $20. Where are the breakout points of Bitcoin and gold? They're in this week's Trends Journal. We warned this would happen. And again, we'll fight to our death. Forced vaccines for all? Oh no, my body, my choice. All these hypocrites that are out there protesting this. Again, I'm not taking a side on the Roe versus Wade, the abortion issue. But what hypocrites when you have the Planned Parenthood, spending over $7 million to promote the vaccination. And they're out there screaming, my body, my choice. What bullshit. You know why? Because it's all nothing but
bullshit.
That's right. We live in a
bullshit
world, and all we have is a bunch of
absolute bullshit
telling us what to do. And if you tune in to the Cartoon News Network, ABC, CNN, NPR, go FUCK yourself. You're nothing but a bunch of little low-life pricks, and I can't say the other word. Because none of you fucks will interview me anymore because I say what you don't like. And you won't interview me. I haven't gotten the jab, and I haven't gotten virus. But you brag when a little dick like Colbert gets the jab and gets the virus and brags that he got the jab and got the virus and says you should get one too, along with Susan Rice, Barack Obama, one clown Hillary Clinton after another. The same bullshit spews out of their mouth. I got the vaccination and I got the boosters. And I'm so thankful I got the virus. And you should get the vaccination too. How come these fucks don't interview all the people that haven't gotten the vaccination and haven't gotten sick and ask us why we're not? Oh, natural healing? I may get censored for that. Anyway, going on to the markets. The S&P declined 5 points. The S&P is heading toward bear territory. Bear territory is down 20%. NASDAQ's in bear territory. This thing is crucial, what's going on in the market front. Federal Reserve Jerome Powell warned today that getting inflation under control could cause some economic pain. No shit. But remains a top priority. Hey, fuckface, how come it wasn't a priority when inflation's been going up now for over a year and you've been shooting out your shit and those little fucks have been swallowing it and repeating it on all the broadcast nations that it was only temporary, only transitory, only transgendatory. Yep. So a soft landing is really just getting back to 2% inflation. Oh, getting back to 2% inflation? Fuck face! When it's at 8.5%? Oh, no, excuse me. The news is inflation went down in April. It's only 8.3%. Yeah. 0.2% difference. And they're making a big deal out of this. This is criminal. It's criminal. The deal is straight. Equities and economies are going to crash. Gold is going down because the dollar is getting strong. And the dollar is only getting strong because all the other currencies ain't worth shit. So, when the economies crash, gold is going to go up high. And get this straight. The only reason why the economies and equities went up is because all the cheap money that they've been funneling into the system when they locked down the world with the COVID war. And that has destroyed more businesses, lives, and livelihoods, hundreds of millions, than the COVID did. And again, who died of it and why? You got all the details. So, when they raise interest rates, you're seeing what's going on now. They can't even take it. You have the basis points between like 0.75 and 1. And the markets can't take it. Oil prices, they're still around $107 a barrel for crude. And they're playing back and forth in the EU. Hungary doesn't want to go along with the deal, and you need all the EU to agree to do the deal. And if they pass this thing and cut off oil from Russia, it's going to be really happy days over there as inflation keeps going a lot higher. So, then you have what's keeping oil prices from not going up so high are these lockdowns in China, which is total insanity in front of everybody's eyes. The death rates are really low. The case rates are really low. And the economy's going down real low. So all these countries that are exporting product, all the Gucci's, the KFC's, the Starbucks, one after another, that are going to the biggest consumer market in the world with 1.4 billion people, are all losing money. This is very serious what's going on. And again, gold, gold's going down, palladium's down 8%. They're looking for stagflation. It's not, it's dragflation. It won't be a stagnant economy, it'll be a declining economy. So they're saying that these are going to go down. But to me, again, the motto of the Trends Journal is think for yourself. I do not give financial advice, but there's no better safe haven than gold, as I see it, and the dollar is now the safe haven asset. What else do we got? The breakout points we have where gold's going to go down and when it's going to go up are in your Trends Journal, along with Bitcoin. Jay Powell warns that turning U.S. inflation will cause some pain. Isn't that a joke? Yep. Biden steps up backing for Fed's inflation. Biden promised that the White House would take action to bring down costs. Quote, "While I will never interfere with the Fed's judgment and sit here and tell them what to do, I believe that inflation is our top economic concern right now, and I think they do too." So again, they're going to raise interest rates. This is what they did during the Reagan administration. They raised them. They don't care about the midterms as much as the presidency. They'll lower them before the elections in 2024 to artificially boost up the market like they did before. And then following that was the crash of 1987. So inflation pressures continue. This is the headline that they had about the inflation numbers that came out the other day. On inflation pressures continues despite slight slip. Again, it dropped to 8.3% from 8.5%. Now, if the new inflation numbers come in and they're not this level, that doesn't mean inflation's gone down. Your cost of renting what you're renting is not going to go down in your apartment. the cost of a lot of products aren't going to go down. They're going to stay where they are. So even if inflation goes down, it's still up, and a lot of prices are going to stay there across the board. And the board is groceries, air travel cost more in April. Groceries over March were up 10.8% over the past 12 months. The largest monthly increase, you ready? Since November 1980. That's when everything was spiking. That's where we're at. The food prices rose, you ready? For the 17th time. And fuckface Powell, 17th time. That's 17 months. This is going on before the Russian invaded Ukraine. And they're saying it was only temporary and transitory. Oh, and the Senate said you could still stay as Fed head. That came today too. It's a crime syndicate that's running the show in a country near you. Wholesale inflation, up 11% in April. Yep. Lockdowns batter China car sales. Just mentioning this because the car sales in China in April were down 36%. This thing is going down big. I mentioned all the other products that are going down in China. This is global. Mortgage refi boom runs out of steam. No kidding. Germany warns of rising interest rates as inflation hits second consecutive high. Inflation in Germany reached a high for the second consecutive month in April. Consumer prices in Germany, Europe's largest economy, were up 7.8%, and they're going to go up even higher because of the sanctions put on Russia and the war that's locked down barley and sunflower oil and wheat leaving Ukraine and Russia. They go on to say that across Europe, inflation has hit a record high for 6 months in a row. They want them to raise interest rates. Bundesbank chief urges July rate rise. Okay? Inflation is running at almost quadruple the ECB's 2% range. And they're bullshitting us that it's 2%, 2%, 2%. And when it goes over 2%, that's our inflation number. And it's been way over that for several months. And they've had negative interest rates for 8 years. 8 years. Bullshitting that their level is 2%. Same thing in the United States. And they haven't raised interest rates and going to raise them in July. And you know how much they're going to raise them? 25 basis points will bring them up to 0. No, it won't. It'll bring them up to minus 0.25%. Then when you put inflation on top of it with 7.5%, you're negative about 8% interest rates. They're doing everything they can to keep it going up. Christine Lagarde has signaled that she would support raising the European Central Bank's main interest rate in July. Oh, great, not June. She added that, quote, actions that demonstrate our commitment to price stability would be critical. How about that? For nothing more.
That is bullshit.
That's right, Lagarde.
Bullshit.
Yep. You should have been raising them a long time ago. They're keeping the cheap money in there to artificially boost up the markets. End of story. Philip Morris aims to strike a $16 billion deal they did with Match. Again, the big's getting bigger. Pfizer buys all of Biohaven for $11.6 billion because of all the dough they got. Pfizer executives have said they want to find $25 billion more in additional deals because of all the money they got for making the COVID jab. In March, they also spent $6.7 billion acquisition for Arena Pharmaceuticals. And speaking of shitheads and arrogant people who also got the vax and was glad they got it and got the virus, Nancy Pelosi, in the $40 billion going to Ukraine, plus a Lend-Lease program, which means you keep giving them stuff that they're never going to pay back $40 billion, as I said, the roads are rotted, homeless people all over the place. People living paycheck to paycheck. $40 billion, that little Buttigieg creep, the little clown playing the transportation guy, $27 billion going into fixing the bridges. $27 billion over 5 years. There's like 5 point something billion a year, and $40 billion goes to Ukraine to keep the blood streams going, the killing fields bloody. She says the brutality of Putin is not just what he's doing in Ukraine, but the impact that it's having on food for the world. The impact it's having on food for the world is also a result of the sanctions that the United States has put on Russia. So when you're home thinking what it is all about, giving that money, just think about when I was hungry, you fed me. Well, this has nothing to do, sending $40 billion, where most of the money is going to weapons, has nothing to do with feeding you. But these are the sick people that are running the show. Again, all these people that call yourselves Catholics, you're not a Catholic. You're not a Catholic. Christ would never approve of this, Pelosi, Biden, and all you other people that call you Christians. You're full of shit. You're full of shit. Oh, Finland announces plan to apply for NATO membership. Great, great. Not 1 inch further was the deal when the Soviet Union broke up. Under Clinton, under Bush, under Obama, it just kept moving more. And now it's going to get worse. Kiev determined to liberate whole country, right? Okay, great, great. Britain offers security assurances to help Sweden and Finland join NATO. Oh, yeah, and if Russia attacks you, the UK is going to be there to protect you. Could you believe this?
Bullshit.
Yep.
Bullshit.
British.
Bullshit.
The UK has promised to help Sweden and Finland should they become under attack for joining NATO. So if Russia had missiles up in Canada and China had them there at Mexico aiming at us, oh, we'd be happy about that. Oh, the Cuban Missile Crisis, they couldn't put them in Cuba, but you could put them in Sweden, you could put them in Finland, Latvia, Estonia. Oh, yeah, put them in there. Oh, and by the way, if the United States went to war against Mexico, you think the Ukrainians would be sending weapons and their people and money to support the United States war? Brussels lays bare 195 billion pounds, or euros, excuse me, cost of freeing EU from Russia energy. Over $200 billion, well over $200 billion. And it'll take years to do, and it's not going to happen. Oh, mask mandates for air travel is lifted. The European Union will no longer recommend. Again, they're making this shit up. You're in an airplane, you can eat and drink without the mask. But when you stop eating and drinking, you got to put the mask on because the virus knows when you're eating and drinking, it's not going to bother you. This is the shitheads in control. And now they decided to take them off. Court rules against age limit on semi-automatic rifles. The divided federal appeals court ruled Wednesday that a California law banning the sale of semi-automatic rifles to adults under 21 years old was unconstitutional. I'm only mentioning this because they're making gun control a big issue in America. And people scooped up guns. We wrote about this when they locked down everything because smart people know when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. So you're seeing the homicide rates, gun killings going off the charts. So now they're talking about gun control. How about that for hypocrisy? Gun control in America, but send all the weapons of death you want to Ukraine to keep the killing fields getting them bloodier. How's that for hypocrisy? It's America. Reporter killed in West Bank city raid. Yep. The Israelis, the Palestinians say they have full proof that this Palestinian-American reporter for Al Jazeera, this woman was shot by the Israelis. Could you imagine if the Russians did this? Could you imagine if the Russians, they're terrible. But the Israelis, they could go into Palestine, they could go take all the land that they want, build illegal settlements, and that's fine. Now, don't call me an anti-Semite. Again, 3 of my last 5 girlfriends were Jewish. And all my Jewish buddies are against what's going on in Israel. Overdose deaths hit record high last year. Drug overdoses deaths in 2021, more than 107,000 people died. Fentanyl, a drug up to 50 times the strength of heroin, has raised risks for drug users. There is a legal form sometimes prescribed for managing cancer pain. Brought to you by the drug dealers. Big Pharma. That's right. That's right. That's okay. Can't smoke pot. No, they made that only legal so they could get tax money. And how many lives did they ruin? How many millions of lives did they ruin? But hey, the drug dealers, Big Pharma, they can make all the painkillers that they want. Synthetic things. And that the criminals know how to remake. And that's fine. We're going to very difficult times. The Fed is now admitting that there's going to be pain. This economy is going to crash like we've never seen before because never in the history of this country has it been so artificially propped up, and in Europe, as they did with the interest rates at 0 and negative. And all of the hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars governments pumped in to artificially boost the economy as they locked them down. The damage done by the COVID war is unprecedented in human history. Restaurants were closed for several months. Dry cleaners have gone out of business. The prices that they cost. I went to get some clothes dry cleaned, for the winter, a sweater, $8 and like 26 cents to get dry cleaned. One sweater. All right? Inflation, food prices. Again, we're doing everything we can to help you. So subscribe to the Trends Journal at trendsjournal.com. We're giving you history before it happens. And on the important issues of where we're going, and constitutionally, you got to check out the interviews I did with Judge Andrew Napolitano, Salenti and the judge. One went up last night at 6 o'clock. Please check it out. And spread the word. We're fighting for freedom. There are others out there, True News, others, the men that are calling and women that are calling for freedom, but very few of us. So if you want to support freedom, peace, and justice, you go to our website, Freedom, Peace, and Justice, the Universal Church. So thank you again. We'll see you soon. And please do what you can to get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We're in the fight for our lives. If you ever see a crazy person walking down the street and you know they're nuts, or the people, that are out of their minds, the politicians are no different than them. They just have a different mental disease. They're power-hungry freaks, murderers and thieves, and by their deeds you shall know them. Thank you. See you soon. From COVID war to Ukraine war to world war. Are you prepared for what's next? These are unprecedented times. What's next? What's going to happen? Read the Trends Journal. We have an unsurpassed track record of forecasting history before it happens. Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happens. From the world leader in trend forecasting.